Chris Lesak joins us on the Future Real Estate podcast today. A really fascinating conversation. Chris is the founder of Blackhawk Equity, a real estate investment firm based in Texas. But today we get into how he believes the blockchain is going to ultimately transform the way that we transact and how that's going to impact real estate investing, the dollar, and how we think about money. This was an incredibly interesting conversation. Really a take on the blockchain and crypto that I've never really considered, and I think you're going to really enjoy this. This has massive implications. If the blockchain truly is going to transform the way that we transact and view money, this is going to be a huge part of, or should be a huge part of the way you think about investing and allocating your portfolio in the future. So let's get into the show.
Chris, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, Ellis? You doing all right today?
Yeah, man. Amazing. Pumped to have you here out of Houston, which we love that market. So welcome, man. Welcome to Future Real Estate.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dude, so let's let the listeners know what you're about, man, because I know you're a real estate investor, but as excited as I am about the future of real estate. So let's start with just your background and current focus, and then we can kind of navigate these waters of just, what you're seeing is happening with blockchain and real estate and investing. But take us back a little bit, man. Give us your story and then kind of what you're focused on today.
I like to say I was lucky enough to grow up in the real estate business. I'm not sure if it's lucky some days, but I grew up when I was younger, helping my uncle manage apartment complexes in Central Texas area, just outside of Austin. And so I would go up there in the summers, and we would cut grass, we would roof houses, build fences, and that was like our summer jobs. And, so I got to learn from, real estate from the management side before I ever got into it. And eventually became a licensed agent, started selling real estate, continue to manage it. I'm a real estate broker, been licensed since 2003. Was managing apartments long before that. Also, we did duplexes, single family, stuff like that, but we did a lot of apartment complexes in a college town. And so I've been 18, almost 19 years, have been licensed. So I've been a broker for almost 10 years now. And so I have a real estate team. I have a management company, and then we also do investing and multifamily, single family. I kind of say anything that makes sense and makes money, we'll invest in on the real estate side, looking at some self-storage and stuff like that. So, but yeah, single family and multifamily is right now where our focus has been, and it's probably the biggest part of our investment strategy.
I love that.
And
You take everything in house? Are you like pretty much you're raising capital, managing the asset as well, or do you do a bit of a hybrid approach? What's kind of your MO?
Yeah, so on the single family side, everything is done in house right now. On the multifamily side, we usually partner with somebody that has more on the larger scale asset management experience. Our experience is typically on the smaller 30, 40, 60 unit deals. And so when we get to a larger asset, or depending on the structure of the deal, we'll typically have somebody else do the asset management. And then we focus on capital raise and just kind of, some general oversight with the experience that we bring from, just doing property management for so long.
Yeah.
So kind of extra eyes, but yeah, do a lot of capital raise.
Cool. Well, man, I first heard you. I first saw your name speaking at the Real Estate Blockchain Summit, something that we're talking about here a lot. And this is the Future Real Estate Show, man. So, I want to take the turn quick and say, or just ask, like, walk me through, what caused you to get interested, having a traditional real estate background, into some of these advancements that are happening in real estate. Let's talk about your story in particular first, and then we can kind of talk about what you're actually seeing happening, in the involvement and advancement of the real estate asset and real estate investing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was one of the, I wasn't the earliest adopter in crypto. I wasn't mining Bitcoin in 2010. I wish I was, but I was starting to notice kind of the trends in just the blockchain crypto space in general. And that was, I'd say, probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And so that's when I first started actually buying currency and things like that. I was a real big fan of Ethereum, and because of what they were doing with smart contracts. And coming from the real estate side, and we deal with contracts all day long. And I was like, okay, smart contracts. I was like, what's that mean in the blockchain space? And so I started diving into that a little bit more. And I wish I could remember who it was, but they made a short video where they were showing how you could transact real estate on the blockchain, and how you could, the future of real estate was going to be that you could buy a house in 24 hours. Well, I naturally had to, perk up and pay attention to that and go, hey, so how am I going to buy a house in 24 hours? I was like, it's a mess. The process could take a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks or longer. And so that really piqued my interest. And so I started reading more and more and more. And I was like, well, I've got to buy into this, so I'll watch it. And so that's when like I said, I bought some Ethereum, some other coins, and just kind of started watching it over time, and would watch, the prices were all over the place, but I was really focused on the technology piece of it and what it could mean, whether it was for real estate or anything else. And I kept telling people, say, hey, crypto's not made to be day traded. It's one of those things. It's made to be. It's an underlying technology that you're going to be able to do things on, whether transact business or you're going to be able to build applications, things like that. And so that was really my journey, and it was just focusing on the technology side of it. And about 3-4 years ago, I started really looking into this applications in real estate as it started to come along. And I came across the Aspen coin, which is the St. Regis Hotel in Aspen, Colorado. They did a token offering, and I was like, man, this is really interesting stuff. And so looked into that. Well, I kind of like took a break from it for like a year, because there was no information on it, none at all. And so you couldn't really advance it. You had to have a lot of money and a lot of connections, and those guys did. And so I was like, okay. So I kind of put it off for a year. And about 2 years ago, I kind of picked things back up, and I go, okay, everybody's interested in crypto now. The space is growing, blockchain's growing, technology. And so I started doing research. And then I was like finding companies that, oh, hey, we can actually do a token offering. Oh, we can actually, put the pieces in place. And so after a lot of research, kind of led me to the place of like, okay, I know how to do a coin off or a token offering now. Now I know how to, move the ball forward, so to speak, and actually do a token offering, that's attached to real estate. And so it's been an interesting journey, because we're at the very beginning of it. Yeah. And I think that's part of what excites me too, is like, not only is it great technology, it's going to affect real estate, but it's also that, hey, we're early on, and we're going to get to be the people that actually bring in the change and get to change the way that the future of real estate works. So yeah. I like that part about it too.
Have you done a token offering yet? Or is that even in your PPM contracts? What are you doing currently? Like, how is this shaped just the way that you are buying, purchasing real estate today?
It was interesting is I went through this whole process in about a year ago, not a year ago, about 5-6 months ago. So it was in 2021. And I just kind of hit this point. I go, man, I was like, it seems like you got to be careful how you do the offering, because investor sentiment on investing in real estate backed with crypto was kind of, it was clunky. People were a little apprehensive. Most of your people that really had the good, the large amounts of money that would do like a Reg D 506C offering, or even a 506B, those are the people that were going like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. And I kept running into the same thing. And so here I was about to spend $100,000 and start the token offering and that process. And I was like, wait, so the investors are a little apprehensive right now. It might be too early for them. And so that was when I reached out to Michael Flight with Liberty Fund. And me and Michael Flight, we started talking, it was last summer. he was telling me some of the bumps and, bumps in the road and some of the obstacles that they run into. And I just was like, okay, we need to come up with a better strategy. So, we're at the blockchain summit last year, and kind of the consensus was, instead of spending the 100,000 or whatever it costs, put it into your operating agreement, put it into your PPM. And that was kind of our consensus, was we need to tell our investors that, hey, this option's here when we're ready, but we're not going to do it from the start.
Right.
And that was way better received by the investors. And so I put it on hold. We were ready to pull the trigger, so to speak, spend the money and put all the pieces in place. And we just realized it was better to go acquire the asset and then let all your investors know that opportunity did exist. And if everybody was on board, then we would do it. And so I didn't want to start it with an existing asset, because it was going to be too hard to go back and get everybody on the same page. So we found it's better just tell everybody up front. And then, so we've been in acquisition mode for that, working on building a residential portfolio of single family homes that we may later do a Reg A offering on, and then doing, multifamily acquisition.
Did you find that your attorney was, when you said, hey, we want to put this in, that how much did that cost you to put that in? And then did you find that you had to go find a different attorney to help you put that into your PPM, or what was that process like?
So it's really like a sentence or two. It's really putting in a sentence that general partners may offer a securitized token offering on this asset, something to that effect, a little bit more than that.
Right.
But it really was a sentence or two that you needed to put into the document, which is different than if you start with the token offering. You're going to have to put way more language in it. But if you do it from the get-go in the PPM, use a sentence or two that's saying the general partners are authorized to do it.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, once you have that verbiage, you can insert it in there.
So let me ask you this, man, from an investor standpoint, someone who may be investing with you, Chris, like, what are the benefits you see for them, when, like, and how long do you think this will, when will that come to fruition? I mean, we all got to guess, but I guess the more important question is what do you see are the benefits, man, of this, the blockchain tokenization of real estate?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the liquidity and the transaction component of it. And we all viewed money the same way for a really long time. And then when blockchain came around, Bitcoin and other things like that, people started to say, well, what is money? Why do we have paper? Why do we have this? Why does this not work? Why does it work? And in reality, if you go back thousands of years, people were transacting with all kinds of different things. They didn't have pieces of paper. They had gold, they had goats, they had milk, they had commodities. And so what I think blockchain is going to allow allow the real estate space specifically, but also other asset classes, is when you fractionalize it and make it easy to transact with. You could go and pay somebody with a portion of an apartment complex you own. And I think that's the part that everyone's missing about where we're going to go in the future, is no longer do you have to pull a dollar bill out of your pocket. You can say, hey, I have a 1% interest in this apartment complex, and at today's market rate, it's worth $10,000. And I can transact with you at that. I can say, hey, Ellis, do you want that 1% stake in this apartment complex? And you go, yeah. And so you take that, and then you trade me a car.
Right.
And I think that's the part that's just one of the pieces. As we've looked at Airbnbs, we've looked at other things that are, short-term rentals, fractional ownership that can be had. You're going to see the blockchain and its ability to transform the way everything's transacted, the way everything's owned, the way it's transacted. And you're going to be able to go through the process a lot easier of transacting. I mean, right now, if I want to buy something from you with crypto, I can scan a QR code on your phone, or you can scan one on mine. You can do that with Venmo. You can do that with anything. So right now, that base layer, that technology is getting put in place to where we're going to be able to transact in a much different way than we have historically. And I think that's the future. I think that's part of what gets me excited about it. And it's no longer like, hey, what's my money backed by? Like, they're just printing money, at ease. They just, oh, here's $30 trillion. It's no, what I gave you is backed by a physical asset that has insurance, that has stockholders, that's regulated, that,
What's interesting about that, Chris, I think so many people think blockchain, or, as we learn this, like, yeah, I shouldn't say so many people, but I just think it seems so theoretical. And what I appreciate what you're saying, man, is like the blockchain is just the platform that allows us to instantaneously and with a public ledger trade actual real assets.
yeah,
And that's incredibly powerful, man. What you're saying, it's not like, oh, we're trading this coin or this thing that we're not really sure. No, we're not. Forget Bitcoin, right?
right.
Like, the blockchain technology allows us to actually trade real assets instantaneously with title, right? And so
Yeah,
that's what you're saying, man. And I think that's I love that you brought up that point. It's not been brought up yet on this show, that the way that we transact and how we transact in our view of really money, right? Of like money is really just the vehicle of transfer that transfers wealth between different people. That it opens it up, like, that's why I think, as strong as the dollar is across the globe, it is a fascinating thing to track over the next 10 years, the use of the dollar, the US dollar. You know what I mean? Because
yep,
how important will it become? I don't know. Less and less, in
yep,
my view.
yep. I want to pull something up right now. So right now on my phone, I have a QR code from Venmo. Okay, if you want to send me some money, I'll scan it. No, but you can do the exact same thing with crypto and in Venmo, and everybody's familiar with that because you're trading dollars. You're
Mhm.
trading dollars. All it's going to change is what you're trading. So in Venmo, you can buy crypto, you can exchange in crypto with the QR code, and you can exchange dollars in it. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same ability, like we're saying, is just to transact, and it's going to be physical assets. And so we're actually in a way going to go back to bartering, but we're going to be able to transact it instantly, and we're not going to have to carry that physical asset somewhere.
Right.
I mean, that's
And
huge.
that's what I don't think people miss about Bitcoin is, like, regardless of Bitcoin will be what allows us to exchange. It will be the intermediary. You won't even know, you won't have to
Yeah,
own or know about Bitcoin for that transaction to happen. I think that's what's so
yeah,
powerful. I love Bitcoin is because I like the utility of it will be
yeah,
what we use. I mean, it could be something other than Bitcoin, but likely not.
yeah,
That will allow this to happen on the blockchain instantaneously.
yeah, yeah. It's
Incredible,
powerful.
man. Let me ask you
Yeah.
this: for folks, passive investors, active investors interested in this, how did you learn? I mean, some of the resources that would, because to be honest, there aren't many shows like this that are trying to teach folks about this technology and whatnot. So where are you learning this? Where are you getting your information from? Where can people go?
Yeah. So I really just went to Google and I went to YouTube and I started learning about it, and I stumbled across some articles about it years ago. And then I just started researching. Like I said, is 3 years ago, you ran into a roadblock. There was no information. Like there was 8 articles and 3 YouTube videos on it.
Yeah.
And then you just ran out of information. And then when I started back a year or two ago looking at it, I mean, there's way more YouTube videos. There's way more articles about it. There's websites devoted to it. I started going, and then you start learning about the platforms that do it. Securitize is one of the platforms. Accrue is one of the platforms. And then you can go to there and you can start getting information from them. And they've taken all the pieces and put them together because they said, well, here's all of our bottlenecks. And they started solving all the problems. And now you got one-stop solutions, or for the most part, one-stop solutions that can solve the majority of the problems. And so now you can go straight to the end users like Securitize and Accrue, that they're going to give you, they're going to be able to give you a lot of the information and tell you how to do it. And they can actually take you from start to finish. And you can say, hey, this is what I want to do. And they can do it for you. And they even have marketplaces now where you can actually sell tokens and things like that. And so I'd say, if you're interested in it, look up securitized token offering, STO, Google it, go to YouTube, but also platforms like Securitize and Accrue, is you can go to them and they can help show you how to do it. There's another company, I think they're about to start doing a public offering, and it's Real T. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they've done it too. And so they've kind of been doing it on their own properties, and now they're going to start doing a public solution. Remy, one of their co-founders, he was at the Blockchain Summit also, and he brought up that they're going to start having a public component of it. But yeah, there's a lot of information on now. You just do securitized token offering, and once you get to those companies, they can walk you through the whole process. It used to be very clunky. Like you had to piece everything together, and now you have companies that can basically do start to finish, can help with the legal, can help you with the banking, the transacting.
Do you think what you now know about, like what your knowledge of this space, do you think is it currently changing your investment strategy? And just from a real estate standpoint, like what you buy, where you buy? I'm curious to get your thoughts on that.
Our biggest thing was, we think cap rates are going to get compressed. We think that the returns people are willing to take are going to go down because there's going to be so much demand in the future, and when you change the way it transacts. And so we've seen cap rate compression in commercial real estate for years because of demand and the available amount of money chasing them. I think you're just going to see that continue to grow, and I think we're going to see returns on par with treasuries. You're going to see real estate returns go down to 1.5–2%, because all this, once we start transacting on a mass scale like this, you're going to see properties essentially go to institutional return levels, and the amount of return people are looking at I think is going to go down. And so our strategy is buy as much as possible and be smart about it. Don't go get in over your head just to get something and hoping that cap rates are going to go down and your price is going to go up. But we just realized that whether you do the token offering today or next year, you needed to have the asset. We're in Texas with massive amount of growth, a lot of people flooding in. So our geographic investing strategy hasn't really changed because everything's going up around here. Our biggest thing is just focus on getting the assets and be more aggressive with the assets, increase deal flow, and make the relationships necessary to get more deals done.
Yeah,
it's given me an urgency of, I need to get out there and I need to get more active and buy more real estate.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, we're on pace to do about 12 million acquisitions the first month of this year. So
awesome, man. Yeah, let's
more
roll.
aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If we believe this, if this is true, I mean, this will shape and transform real estate unlike any other decade in our history. And so, it's true. I mean, it's regardless of what happens, he who owns real estate or she who owns real estate is going to be the winner at the end of the day, regardless of what we put this on, because you still need the real estate. You still got to own the real estate, right? And so that's the major takeaway here. Chris, man, this has been an awesome conversation, dude. Where can folks follow you, man, learn more about what you got going on in your company, brother?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me, Chris Lesak. Also, you can visit blackhawk-equity.com. That's blackhawk-equity.com. And that's our site. If you're interested in investing, you can go there and learn about the different opportunities we have. And then social media, I'll post different things, blog posts about blockchains, things like that. And I have a personal site, chrislesak.com. That's more of an informational site, and I have more and more information about blockchain and technology and all that stuff's going on. So yeah.
Cool, dude. This has been great, man. I appreciate it. I will see you in Austin at the Blockchain Real Estate Summit, man, for sure. We'll get together. If you're going to go back, we'll be there, and hopefully this show will have a big part of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I plan on being there and seeing you. So thanks for having me.
All right, man.
All right, take care.